The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
The best ideas are free with Ben Young from Bwaggy.com.
BWAGY.com. Also on Twitter as well. G'day there, Ben.
Good morning.
Good weekend?
Very good weekend. Nice and restful.
Tell us about, just very quickly, because we're going to talk about something about a magic box. The magic box. But do tell us about last week you went to the launch of Social Media NZ.com.
Yes. It was quite good. I was on the panel and we were talking about, what is social media and what does it mean for businesses, and about the rise of social media experts, which I don't really want to go into too much. But on the panel, there was myself, Murray Streets from Saatchi's, and then Howarth from Westpac, and we were just talking about, how we use these tools to have business value. And the key point, which I kept driving home, was, what is the objective of using this? What are you trying to achieve? How does this add business value? Because if you can't fulfill those, then you shouldn't be doing this. From a business point of view, from a personal point of view, completely different.
Because we hear a lot of the hype about social media. Oh, you'll be on there and suddenly everything miraculously happens. Your business will increase tenfold.
Yeah. So Sun Tzu from The Art of War, which I'm sure we've all heard about, has a great quote, and he says, the enemy will see the tactics by which I win, but not the strategy by which I conquer.
Yeah.
And so, because social media is so transparent, people jump in and see people doing something, and then they think that's what they should be doing, and they're seeing the tactics that someone is using, but not the overarching strategy, which is paving for success.
Yeah.
And that's the irony behind social media, is that because it's so transparent, people are going off on tangents as to what it means for them and their business.
Yeah.
So, it's just figuring out what it means for you and your business at this point in time.
Okay. Has it got anything to do with the magic box?
The magic box,
or is that
slightly
completely different?
But it is part of the magic box.
Okay.
So now I want people to imagine that the business that they either own or operate or work in is like a car, and the magic box is almost the engine inside the car.
What type of car? This is
cool. Hopefully a Ferrari, and a really nice, big, sexy car.
Not a Corolla.
Maybe not now. Something that's attractive. Hopefully.
Yeah.
And if you imagine that in a car, the engine's running all the time. You don't quite see it. You don't get to see the final workings, but you know what the end result is. You get to move this object from A to B.
Yeah.
And so that's what the magic box essentially is. It's the engine for a business. Now, I don't want to be too mystical, but the magic box is your point of difference. It's how your organisation adds value to the market. It's how your organisation takes 100 people like you and me, guides what they do with their time to create tremendous value. For example, look at what people at Telecom do, or Vodafone, or Kiwi FM. We're all putting time into something, and there's some kind of output at the end. And so the magic box is a set of systems and processes and guidelines and almost organisational operating model for how you add value to the market. And the reason that I bring this up is that I encounter a lot of very small businesses, again, one-man bands up to 5 people, and they're not quite sure on what their internal operating model is. And so the result is that they don't work as efficiently, they're not able to sell their business, they're not able to grow it, because extra work in the door means extra stress on everyone, and roles are often not clearly defined. In some of these small businesses, you might be hired as, let's say, technical manager, but you're doing reception as well, because everyone has to swap roles. And that's what the magic box is. It's going, well, this is what your business is achieving, what are the steps to achieving that, and what are your values and how do they plug into the system. Okay,
so I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of things that can go into this magic box, but what are just a couple of specifics do you think that you'd look at?
Top priority is your values and your purpose, what your organisation stands for.
It's like a mission statement.
Yeah. Why is everyone coming into work? What are we trying to achieve?
Talking about a mission statement, do a lot of people still do mission statements? Because that was something I remember being taught as it was a basic thing to start off a business with a mission statement. But do people put it into practice?
Lots of people have mission statements. Most people don't know it. The new way is to talk about having a purpose, which is much more simple. It's almost, if our business was an organisation, if our business was a charity, what would we be trying to do?
Right.
So if our business was
worthy.
Greenpeace,
yeah.
So it's just simple one-liner as to why we're all turning up. And then the values that plug into that, and of course you have assumed values. You have to assume that everyone is honest, ethical, turns up on time, that kind of stuff. It's other things like exceeding customers' demands consistently, or always coming up with fresh ideas each month. There are a lot of other things that plug into that.
Okay.
And then finally, there's the systems and processes that you take a customer through. In terms of, if you're McDonald's, you take their order, you go and make their burger, give them their burger, they leave.
You give them a smile as well.
Yeah. So somewhere in that process, please smile.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what the systems and processes are. That operating model of how you achieve things that makes you unique.
Do you really need to write those things down?
As a business owner, yes. In terms of, do employees need to know all of that? That's an arguable point. In a small business, you'd hope that they do. In a much larger business, it's not always necessary. But it's very important to know how your business establishes excess value for the client through this set of systems and processes, and how you profit from that. And the interesting thing is, once you've defined that process, it gives a lot of clarity to everyone, because they know where they've been and where they should be going with each client. It's not like you walk into McDonald's and the shop assistants walk away and don't pay attention. That's not how the customer's supposed to go through the process.
So would you look at it, let's say, a new idea, and go, well, does this match the criteria contained within the magic box?
A new idea in what respect?
Well, so you've got maybe a new product idea, or someone's come up with a new way of doing things.
Yeah.
Would you go back to the values of the magic box and go?
Yeah, and then that should impact on the set of systems and processes. Maybe someone's figured out a more efficient way for your customers to park. And just by defining that, it gives greater clarity, and it also achieves greater efficiencies, because if someone's not doing something that works towards that process, well, they're not really adding value at that point in time.
Time to get out.
Yeah, well...
That's another process.
Yes. So the magic box, systems and processes, other people... What's some other terminology? Some people call it your operating model, or your operating system, a business's operating system. And big companies actually hire specialists to come in and go, here's a process from A to B, can you tweak it so it squeezes 2% more profit?
Well, I reckon once a business got to a certain size, the magic box will become a magic room.
You'd go in there. Big box.
You'd go in there and you'd see it all in operation. You'd see there'd be diagrams all over the walls.
Yeah. And the difficulty that some big...
And there'd be a glowing orb in the corner.
Oh, it sounds like Apple. Glowing orb. It's the new...
It's an iPhone.
It's
powering the whole
iDesk
business.
2012.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'd be a bit scared, I reckon, as an employee to go into that room. You might find like one of those heads that's separated from a body, that's all wired up to electrodes and stuff, and it's the brain.
I
the
think
nervous
you're mixing
system.
up gaming with reality.
Oh, okay, right. We're going off track. Thanks very much, Ben.
All good, thanks.
Bwaggy.com, BWAGY.com, is where you can continue the conversation. Also on Twitter as well.